Hi friends, welcome back. Today I want to talk to you about friendships. And that's like such a huge subject, so I hope I can say what I want to say about it and it not be too long. I might need to make a part 2 video. I don't know. But anyway, guys, we all know how important friendships are to our lives, right? They bring us a lot of joy. We all need to have good friendships. So how do you choose good friends? Because I think that that is so important. And I know, like for me, it's taken me almost 50 years to learn some of these things that I'm going to share with you today. I wish I had known, you know how they say hindsight's 2020. I wish I had known some of these things earlier in my life. But anyway, I have a saying which doesn't probably sound very nice, but it says, like, I say, friends are overrated. And before you like get upset with me about that, I just say that in jest because I know that friends, when you have a true friend, it is priceless. A true friend is just priceless. It's a treasure in your life. However, you know how we as human beings, we tend to always be looking out for number one. And so a lot of times friendships become a way of just people getting their own needs met, through the friendship. And we can end up using people, they use us. And that's what we want to avoid, is we want to have friends where, yes, it's mutually beneficial, but you're not using them for just to get your needs met in some kind of way or some kind of benefit, and you're not allowing yourself to then be used as well. You can be alerted, because people do that. People use other people because of who they know. They want to benefit in some kind of way. And in a way, there's kind of nothing wrong with that. Like, there's networking. We all network. And it's fine to have acquaintances and stuff like that. But when it comes to your inner circle, you really need to be choosy and careful about who you allow in your inner circle, because that is how I see friendships. So, for me, there's like my close, intimate friends, which are, few and far between. And then it just kind of goes from there. And I have a lot of acquaintances, but that's not the same, obviously, as a close friend. And Jesus, we can see that in the life of Jesus. He did that. He had his close friends, and Judas, one of them, betrayed him, right? So that happens where you can be very betrayed by a friend and very disappointed. But he knew who the betrayer was. So the Holy Spirit had already let him know that this person was not genuine. And that's really what I want to say, is that if we're going to know who's really true friend and who's not, we have to rely on God to reveal that to us. And oftentimes, I know for me, I get a lot of things sometimes in dreams where I get to kind of see people's real motives. And, I'm not saying like to be quick to judge, because like you guys know, like dreams have to be interpreted, and sometimes they're symbolic and they're not even necessarily about what you're dreaming. But oftentimes when there's betrayal in a dream, it does show that your friend is not true. So anyway, let's talk about friendship. I believe, obviously, that friendship is a two-way street, and you shouldn't be making all the effort to be someone's friend. Like, they need to also put effort into the friendship. And if someone isn't putting any effort forth into being your friend, and you feel like you're the one that's always, calling, always putting forth the effort, then, it's probably a clue that that person doesn't really want to be a close friend. Maybe they just want to be an acquaintance. Don't be too quick to judge that, though. I mean, I would talk to that person about it and let your feelings be made known. And if it continues, that behavior continues, then just withdraw. Because sometimes people get kind of lazy about friendships, and they're just used to you calling, you making all the effort, and they let you do that, right? And also some people are busy, especially people that have kids, have a really busy job, you know, they might be happy to let you put forth all the effort. Doesn't mean they don't want to be your friend, but they're kind of lazy about it. But honestly though, eventually, I mean, you will know, you'll have that feeling in your heart that, hey, this is so off balance, and I'm not going to sit here and put all this effort into a friendship when they didn't put no effort into being my friend. Because ultimately, people make time for what's important to them. And if they don't hear from you for a while, you know, they should call to check on you. And if they don't, that's a big sign to you that, you know, your friendship's not that important. It's not a high priority for them. I remember having a conversation with a friend at work about this, and I was telling her, I was kind of frustrated. I was like telling her about how I felt that I was putting forth all the effort in a relationship and wasn't getting, you know, the same back. And she told me a story. She goes, yeah, I totally relate. She said, I have a friend. She tells me, I have like my best friend, she said, that I felt like I was always calling her and she never called me. And so I just got tired and I stopped calling her. And I asked her, well, so how did it go? Like, did she ever call you back? And she told me, I haven't talked to her in 3 years. I was like, wow, okay, well, that was a long time ago. I don't know if they ever, you know, stayed friends or not. But do you see what I mean? Like, when you stop making forth the effort, if it just completely fizzles out, well, then you have your answer, right? And you just move on. And you don't get sad about it. It's like they do not belong in your life. So God's doing you a favor by removing them. And, you know, who knows for what reason? We don't know. Okay, so I've made a couple of notes, guys. So another thing to remember about friendships is this, okay? Do they only call you when they need something? That is annoying, isn't it? If you have friends that only call you when they need something, whether it's like they need advice, they need money, they need you to do whatever, you know, to help them. I mean, that shouldn't be the only time your friend calls. They should call when things are good and they're just calling to say hi because they want to talk to you and see how you're doing, right? So that's a red flag right there. Another warning or red flag is when someone can't be happy for you when good things happen to you. You know, if it seems like they cannot be happy when you're happy and celebrate good things that happen in your life, then you know they're probably not that good of a friend, or they have real issues with like jealousy, and it's hard to trust people who have not overcome that jealous spirit. You know what I mean? I'm not saying like just toss them out as a friend or anything, but be careful about letting people like that into your close circle, because, you know, if they're jealous like that, then sometimes they really secretly want to see you fail, and that's so bad. And they might try to like ruin your reputation or sabotage whatever different things in your life by talking bad about you, because someone who loves you is going to be happy for you when good things happen to you. Sometimes though, people can be so immature that they're just kind of jealous and they're not really happy. You know what I mean? Because somehow that threatens them. They feel threatened by you doing well because they're competitive. And yeah, these people probably don't need to be in your close inner circle, because, you know, they'll betray you if they get a chance, right? Most likely, or they can. So again, you'd have to be careful and take note of that. Another way you can know if you have a good friend or not is, are they willing to like listen to you when you have a problem? You know, will they make time to listen to you, or do they just seem very uninterested, and the conversation somehow just turns back around to them and what's going on with them? And again, guys, I wouldn't be like too quick to judge somebody for that. You know, you have to really use wisdom, because sometimes people are going through so much in their own lives that it's like they don't really care a whole lot about what goes on in other people's lives. You know what I mean? They can't care too much about what's going on in other people's lives. And so sometimes we just have to be patient with them and make note of that. But you do need to know, like, friends that you can count on that are going to be there for you when you need a friend, like who's there. Because a lot of times when you need something, a lot of people will just kind of disappear because they don't want to deal with your problems. You know, they're selfish, or they just have enough of their own problems that they can't even be there for you, you know. So I'm just saying, I wouldn't just write people off, because remember, there's just different levels of friendship. So you can just push them back to an acquaintance, take note of the fact that, hey, this is not a person that I can depend on. But I'm not saying like just completely write them off out of your life either, because people grow and change. And a person who, you know, I don't know, one day they might grow to be a better person, and you can then have them as a friend. Who knows? Just my theory on that. But okay, so then there's the, will they listen to you when you have a problem? That's a nice friend. However, some people will sit there and listen to you just to get intel on you so that they can then go talk about it, and they don't really care about you, but they're happy to listen to all your problems. So you have to have wisdom on that. And if you have a funny feeling about that, I would not just sit there and tell people everything about, you know, about yourself, which I'm very guilty of that, because I'm very extroverted. And so I tend to, I've done that in the past and then regretted it. So guys, when it comes to friendships, I think that, like I said, you need to be careful about who you have in your inner circle. People don't just have the right to be in your inner circle just because you know them or whatever. You have to earn that over time of having proven yourself, right? So you need to be careful. And I just think that, like, for me, I always say my best friend is, I just touched the mic again. My best friend is Jesus. That's my best friend. He's really the only friend I can trust to never abandon me, always tell me the truth, always be there for me, right? That's what I believe. I think that your first, real friendship needs to be with God and the Holy Spirit. And then, because anybody at any time, even your close friends, can betray you. I just believe that, anybody at any time can be influenced by the devil at times to not be that great of a friend to you, or to mislead you. So for example, with Jesus, right? Think about the situation he had with Peter, where one minute he's telling Peter, Peter says to Jesus, "Oh, you're the Son of God," right? And he's telling him, "Flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father in heaven." So one minute Peter's talking to Jesus, inspired by the Holy Spirit, and then a few verses later, he's telling him, "Get behind me, Satan," right? So he's then being inspired by the enemy to speak to him. So we have to always be mindful of the spirit that is behind people and motivating people. And we have to understand that in their humanity, anybody can fail us. And that doesn't mean necessarily that you have to like end your friendship with them, but you do have to be wise enough to be led by the Spirit, so that if the Holy Spirit is telling you like, don't share this with them, keep this to yourself, then that you do that, no matter who that person might be, whether they're in your inner circle or not. We have to first understand, I believe, that Jesus is our best friend. Holy Spirit is guiding us, and he will reveal to us who we can trust and when, and all of that. And I do, of course, believe that a lot of times this comes in dreams, right? So I've had many dreams that help me understand how certain people in my life were viewing me at that moment, and helped me to like then adjust my behavior. But like I told you, people can change and people grow. And someone who 5 years ago maybe was a little bit flaky, maybe now they've matured. And I know they say a lot of people don't change, but we do grow and develop, hopefully, especially if you're dealing with good people who are actively trying to grow themselves. So sometimes people see the error of their ways and they want to change. And I do believe we should give people second chances, you know what I mean? And even third and fourth chances if you see that they are trying to be a better person. But again, we have to listen to that intuition, and we have to adhere to the red flags. When there is a red flag and someone is a certain way, we can't ignore that. And I will tell you real quick about a dream I had recently that was very interesting. So I met somebody, a friend, and I was really excited about this friendship, and it just really seemed like it was a divine appointment, somebody who was brought into my life from God. And then I had this dream where, in my dream, she was wearing blue contact lenses. And in the dream, I was looking at her and I could see the blue contact lens, and I could see her brown eyes behind it. Now, guys, I think brown eyes are beautiful. Obviously, I've got brown eyes. It has nothing to do with, the color of your eyes really being better or worse. But in the dream, the blue, blue often symbolizes, I believe, like divinity, like God, like the sky's blue, you know what I mean? So the dream was showing me that even though she appeared to be, good or from God, underneath there was something dark about her. And God was showing me to be careful about this person. So anyway, I'm just telling you that oftentimes you will get warnings in dreams about people, and we have to use wisdom, because God works through people, and so does the devil. He inspires people to do things, and they can be a source of blessing or bring problems into our lives, and we have to know who to deal with and how to deal with them, and when, and we need to be careful about that. So I hope that helps you pick your friends wisely. Some advice there, to always be centered, and to not put all your eggs in one basket. Have different friends and learn to love yourself. Be your own best friend as well, right? Because when you love yourself, then you don't need validation from other people. And if a friend, betrays you or is no longer your friend, it doesn't devastate you, right? Because you're okay with yourself, and You're smart enough to have other relationships. You don't just have one friendship that means everything to you. Don't do that to yourself. Have a healthy support system in your life. All right, guys, until next time, thanks for watching.